Rose Conway-Walsh.
Last Concorla and Minister. The pandemic has delivered the sharpest and deepest and most traumatic shock to our economy and indeed our society. And we thought that Brexit was a shock and everything we had to deal with there, and everything we still have to deal with there, indeed. We have now had 6 months to protect businesses and jobs, and at an early stage it was agreed on a global basis that austerity wasn't going to work. It wasn't the answer, that we needed a Keynesian approach. My concern is that we are attempting to do that, but we're not doing it nearly enough. We're not doing it in the same way that other countries are doing it, and I don't think that we're going to get the results that we want to achieve from it. And yes, the July stimulus package offered some measures, but not nearly enough, and not in the form that it was asked for. That's not me saying that. Your own TDs, I've just been listening to them here, you know, when your own TDs are telling you to stand up for rural Ireland, and that rural Ireland has been forgot, and that different businesses have been forgot. And then it says something. Loans with uncompetitive interest rates and limited grants with unrealistic timelines were the feature of the July stimulus package. Like banks still charging, like businesses expecting to get loans for 6.5%. You could go into a credit union and get a better loan than that. The other thing I just want to ask, Minister, is in terms of, I know there was an issue in Britain where companies were being set up to draw down some of the funding, the guaranteed funding from the state. And I'd ask you, I suppose, what measures have been taken to stop false companies being set up to draw down that money that we will end up paying for? But these businesses were only recovering after years of austerity, and they don't have the capacity or the appetite to carry any more debt. The fact is that the government is falling very short in protecting jobs and supporting businesses during the pandemic. And I'll give you an example of why I say this. So last week I spoke to a hospitality business owner employing just under 50 people in a rural town, which is a huge amount of people. And on Tuesday he was really pleased to get a restart grant of €15,000. Now, he had a busy July and August with people holidaying in Ireland, and he had just about managed to pay the bills that he would normally pay in March and April. He caught up with getting ready to button down the hatches for the winter until such time as normality would return, or some kind of normality would return to the sector. And he worked out that his insurance bill would be somewhat similar to the previous year, which was around €27,000. I know that's a huge amount by any standards. But his renewal notice came in the door 2 days later, and guess what? His insurance premium had gone up to €120,000. Eventually, after a week of sleepless nights, the cheapest premium he could get was €72,000. So you see, his €15,000 goes straight to the insurance company, plus 4 times more than that. Now, if you add a huge rates bill onto that, and add the fact that the banks are looking for the high interest rates and looking for the mortgage repayments from October, you can see why many, many businesses will be closing down right across the country. The insurance companies are still running right. They're absolutely running right. I commend what my own colleague Pierce Doherty did and what we collectively did on the Finance Committee around insurance companies, but it's not nearly enough. Businesses such as the one I refer to are tired of the false promises, tired of the reports, and tired of the legal system that settles unfounded claims. These businesses and the jobs they provide are hanging on a knife edge. They are worth €7.6 billion to the Irish economy, employing 180,000 people. We received the autumn legislation programme from the government earlier today, but there's no sign of any, unless I missed it, there's no sign of any piece of legislation that will bring about the necessary change to the insurance industry. Insurance companies have in recent months again demonstrated their complete disregard to the people and businesses they make up. They have been refused to pay out on struggling businesses during the pandemic. The sector has seen a booming income in recent years. And despite an annual revenue of upwards of 15 billion, pubs, restaurants and hotels have found themselves forced into court to get the coverage. I too have been watching acutely the case in Britain, and we need to immediately take note of that here. Immediately take note of it. We also need to take note of what they've done around the audit companies. I have an awful lot more to say on businesses. I know I don't have time. Thank you, Laska Hirlach. But, you know, we are way behind the curve in terms of dealing with both the big four audit companies, the insurance companies and the banks here, and we need to take it serious. Thank you.
Thank you.